Do you ever feel like your thoughts are racing, a whirlwind of ideas, yet true clarity remains just out of reach? In a world that constantly demands more speed, more information, more decisions, our minds can often feel overwhelmed, struggling to keep pace, let alone truly excel. It's a common frustration, this yearning for a sharper, quicker mind amidst the daily noise. We're bombarded with the message that faster is always better. But what if the secret to thinking not just faster but profoundly smarter lies not in accelerating the chaos, but in a different approach altogether? An approach hinted at by one of history's greatest minds, Albert Einstein. His name evokes genius, but also a depth of thought that seems almost magical. This isn't about complex algorithms or mental gymnastics. The simple trick we're exploring today is a fundamental shift in perspective, a way to unlock the potent capabilities already within you. It's about transforming how you engage with your thoughts, drawing inspiration from the way Einstein himself approached the universe's most daunting puzzles. Get ready to discover a more serene, yet powerful way to think. The modern world often equates intelligence with rapid-fire processing. We try to juggle multiple tasks, absorb endless streams of data, and make snap judgments. But does this frantic activity truly lead to better thinking? Or does it merely scatter our focus, leaving us feeling mentally exhausted and less effective than we could be? Consider the quality of thought, not just the quantity. Imagine your mind as a garden. If you constantly flit from one plant to another, never pausing to truly tend to any single one, how well will that garden flourish? Deep insights, like prize-winning roses, require dedicated attention and a certain stillness to bloom. Constant mental motion can be like a perpetual light shower, never truly soaking the soil. Albert Einstein, a name synonymous with genius, understood something profound about the nature of thought. His breakthroughs didn't come from a place of hurried mental activity. Instead, they often emerged from periods of deep, almost meditative contemplation. He knew that sometimes, to move forward effectively, one must first become remarkably still. This is the beginning of our trick. The simple trick isn't about cramming more information into your brain or forcing your neurons to fire faster. It's about creating the optimal conditions for your mind to work its wonders. It's about subtracting the noise, not adding to the pressure. Think of it as clearing a space for brilliance to emerge. So what is this elusive element, this foundational practice? It is the deliberate cultivation of focused stillness. In an age of distraction, the ability to concentrate deeply on a single subject, without interruption, is becoming a superpower. This was a cornerstone of Einstein's approach. Consider the surface of a lake. When it's agitated and choppy, the reflection is distorted, unclear. You can't see the depths. But when the waters are calm and still, the reflection becomes sharp, perfect, and you can perceive what lies beneath. Your mind operates on a similar principle. True clarity emerges from mental quietude. Einstein often spoke of the importance of solitude for his work. It wasn't about loneliness. It was about creating an internal and external environment free from the clamor that stifles deep thought. In these quiet spaces, the mind can wander constructively, make novel connections, and dive below the surface of problems. The first step, then, is to consciously carve out moments of undisturbed time. This might seem like a luxury, but it's a necessity for higher-level thinking. Even 15 minutes of dedicated, single-task focus can be more productive than hours of fragmented attention. Turn off notifications, find a quiet corner, and let your mind settle. But mere quiet isn't enough. The next part of this trick is what you do with that quiet. Einstein was a master of the Jeddingen experiment, the thought experiment. He would immerse himself in a problem, visualizing it, playing with it in his mind, exploring its contours from every angle. Imagine you have a complex challenge. Instead of immediately trying to find a solution, simply hold the problem in your mind. Turn it over. Look at its different facets. Don't rush to judgment or conclusion. Let curiosity be your guide. This patient examination is where insight begins to brew. This leads to the second crucial element, simplification. Einstein famously said, "Everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler." The ability to strip a problem down to its essential core is a hallmark of brilliant thinking. It's about finding the signal in the noise. When faced with overwhelming complexity, our minds tend to shut down or skim the surface. By consciously seeking the fundamental principle, the underlying structure, you make the problem more manageable. Ask yourself, what is truly at the heart of this issue? This process of simplification isn't about being simplistic or ignoring important details. It's about distinguishing the essential from the peripheral. It's like a sculptor chipping away excess stone to reveal the form hidden within. The form was always there. It just needed to be uncovered. So the trick unfolds. First, create focused stillness. Second, engage in deep, curious examination. Third, actively simplify the problem to its core components. This threefold approach allows your mind to work more effectively, leading to those aha moments that feel like magic but are born of method. You might think, this sounds slow. I need to think faster. But consider this. How much time is wasted pursuing flawed ideas born from hasty, superficial thought? How much energy is expended on solutions that don't address the real problem? The slowness of deep focus is an investment that yields faster, more accurate results in the long run. Think of a master craftsman. They don't rush their work. They measure carefully, select their tools with precision, and apply their skill with deliberate focus. The speed comes from ingrained expertise and an absence of wasted motion, not from frantic haste. Your thinking can acquire this same elegant efficiency. This approach also combats mental fatigue. Constantly switching tasks and processing surface-level information is exhausting. Deep, focused work, while requiring effort, can be incredibly energizing when you feel genuine progress and understanding dawning. It's the difference between treading water and purposeful swimming. Einstein's theories revolutionized our understanding of the universe. These weren't whimsical fancies, but the result of sustained mental effort, applying these very principles of focus and simplification to questions of cosmic scale. He wrestled with concepts, sometimes for years, allowing them to mature in his mind. He famously used his violin playing not just as a respite, but as a way to let his subconscious mind work on problems. This interlude of different, yet still focused, activity often allowed new connections to form. This highlights the importance of allowing your mind space, even through different forms of engagement. The simple trick is therefore not a shortcut in the typical sense. It's a more direct, more profound path. By cultivating focus, you enhance your ability to see clearly. By simplifying, you make complex issues approachable. This is how you truly think smarter and ultimately make better decisions faster because you're starting from a place of deep understanding. Let's explore how this focused stillness enhances perception. When your mind is quiet, you notice more. You see subtle patterns, connections, and nuances that are invisible when you're rushing. It's like adjusting the focus on a lens. Suddenly, the blurry image becomes sharp and detailed. Think about reading a complex text. If you skim it, you grasp keywords but miss the argument. If you read it slowly, deliberately, engaging with each sentence, the deeper meaning unfolds. This is the quality of attention we're aiming for in all our thinking. This heightened perception isn't just for grand scientific problems. It applies to everyday decisions, to understanding people, to navigating complex social situations. By truly focusing, you pick up on subtleties that allow for more insightful and empathetic responses. You become a better listener, a more astute observer. Now, consider the power of simplification in problem solving. Many problems seem intractable because they are a tangle of interconnected issues. The act of dissecting the problem, identifying its core components, is often the most critical step towards a solution. Einstein excelled at this. When you isolate the fundamental question, you can direct your mental resources more effectively. Instead of being overwhelmed by the whole, you tackle manageable parts. This systematic deconstruction prevents that feeling of being stuck and builds momentum towards a solution. Einstein's thought experiments often involve taking a complex scenario and simplifying it to an idealized situation where the core principles could be examined without confounding variables. For example, imagining riding on a beam of light. This simplification was key to his insights into relativity. This doesn't mean ignoring complexity, but rather understanding its architecture. A grand cathedral is incredibly complex, yet it's built upon fundamental architectural principles. By understanding these principles, one can appreciate, repair, or even design such a structure. Your mind can do the same with complex ideas. So, how does this lead to thinking faster? When you've deeply understood the core of a problem through focused simplification, potential solutions become more obvious. You're not guessing, you're deriving answers from a solid foundation. The clarity achieved actually accelerates the later stages of problem solving. Moreover, by training your mind in this way, you build mental models that can be applied to new situations more quickly. You develop an intuition for identifying core principles, which allows you to get to the point faster in future challenges. This is the essence of true intellectual agility. This contrasts sharply with the busy brain that jumps between superficial thoughts. That kind of speed is often illusory, like a wheel spinning in mud, lots of motion, no real progress. The focused mind, however, gains traction and moves forward with purpose, even if its initial pace seems more measured. The benefit of this approach isn't just intellectual, it's also emotional. The feeling of being overwhelmed and mentally scattered is a significant source of stress. Cultivating focused thought brings a sense of calm, control, and confidence in your own mental abilities. When you know you have a reliable method for tackling complexity, challenges become less daunting. Instead of anxiety, you feel a sense of curious engagement. This positive emotional state further enhances cognitive function, creating a virtuous cycle of clarity and composure. Let's consider the noise we often face. Constant notifications, the pressure to always be on, the sheer volume of information, these are the enemies of deep thought. The first practical step is to create deliberate zones of silence in your day. This doesn't require hours of meditation, though that can help. It can be as simple as dedicating 20-30 minutes to a single task with all distractions removed. Treat this time as sacred. It's an appointment with your own mind, allowing it the space to breathe and think deeply. During this focus time, if you're tackling a problem, practice active questioning. Don't just stare at it. Ask, what are the underlying assumptions? What if the opposite were true? What is the simplest explanation? What are the core principles at play here? Use analogies and metaphors to understand complex ideas. Einstein himself often used vivid imagery to explain his theories. Imagine a blind beetle crawling over the surface of a curved branch. This helps to make the abstract concrete and more easily manipulated in the mind. Try to articulate the problem or idea in the simplest terms possible, as if explaining it to a child. This forces you to distill it to its essence. If you can't explain it simply, you probably don't understand it deeply enough yet. This is a powerful self-diagnostic tool. Embrace productive struggle. Deep thinking isn't always easy or comfortable. There will be moments when you feel stuck. Recognize this not as failure, but as part of the process. It's often in these moments of wrestling with an idea that breakthroughs are forged. Allow for incubation. After a period of intense focus, step away. Let your subconscious mind take over. Go for a walk, engage in a different activity, like Einstein with his violin. Often, solutions or insights will emerge when you're not consciously forcing them. This trick of focused simplification is not just for scientists or philosophers. It's for anyone who wants to think more clearly, solve problems more effectively, and make better decisions in their personal and professional lives. It is a universally applicable skill for a richer mental life. The promise of thinking faster is fulfilled not by accelerating mental chaos, but by achieving clarity sooner. Once the core of an issue is understood, the path forward is often surprisingly swift. The initial investment in deep thought pays off with efficient, targeted action. And thinking smarter, that comes from the depth of understanding, the ability to see connections, to anticipate consequences, and to generate genuinely novel solutions. This is the hallmark of wisdom, not just data processing. It is about the quality and profundity of your thoughts. Imagine approaching your next challenge, not with a sense of overwhelm, but with a quiet confidence. You have a method. You know how to create the space for your mind to work. You know how to peel back the layers to find the heart of the matter. This is empowering. This simple trick is essentially a commitment to the quality of your attention. In a world vying for every second of it, choosing to dedicate focused, undistracted attention to what truly matters is a revolutionary act. It's how you reclaim your mental sovereignty. Start small. Identify one task or problem today where you can apply this. Dedicate a specific, uninterrupted block of time. Practice observing it, questioning it, simplifying it. Notice how it feels to engage your mind in this deeper way. Don't be discouraged if your mind wanders initially. The habit of distraction is strong. Gently bring your focus back again and again. Like strengthening a muscle, the ability to concentrate deeply improves with consistent practice. Be patient with yourself. Remember Einstein's playful curiosity. Approach your thinking not as a chore, but as an exploration, an adventure into the landscape of ideas. What wonders might you uncover when you give your mind the focused space it needs to roam and discover? The noise of the external world often mirrors the noise within. By cultivating inner stillness, you become less susceptible to external distractions. Your mind becomes a calm center, a sanctuary from which you can engage with the world more thoughtfully and effectively. This practice isn't about isolating yourself from the world, but about preparing yourself to engage with it more meaningfully. Just as an artisan sharpens their tools before beginning their work, you are sharpening your most important tool, your mind. Consider the long-term benefits. A mind trained in focused simplification is more adaptable, more creative, and more resilient. It's better equipped to handle not just current challenges, but also the unforeseen complexities the future may hold. This is an investment in your lifelong learning and growth. The simple trick, then, is not a magic wand, but a disciplined art. It's the art of presence, the art of inquiry, and the art of clarity. And like any art, it is cultivated through intention and practice, revealing its profound rewards over time. When you feel overwhelmed by information, remember the power of asking, what is the one key takeaway here? What is the central thread I need to grasp? This act of prioritization is a form of simplification that can instantly reduce mental load. When facing a big decision, resist the urge to immediately weigh all options frantically. First, clarify your core values and objectives related to this decision. What truly matters most to you in this context? This simplification of criteria will guide your choice more effectively. Even in conversations, practice this. Instead of half listening while formulating your reply, truly focus on what the other person is saying. Try to understand their core message, their underlying intent. This leads to deeper connection and more productive dialogue. The beauty of this trick is its scalability. It applies to monumental scientific inquiries, as with Einstein, but also to the small, everyday puzzles of life. The principles remain the same: focus, examine, simplify. This is a universal toolkit for better thinking. Imagine the cumulative effect of consistently applying this approach. Each act of focused thought, each problem simplified, builds mental muscle. Over time, what once felt like a strenuous effort becomes a more natural, intuitive way of engaging with the world. This isn't about becoming an Einstein, but about unlocking your own unique potential for clearer, deeper, and more agile thinking. His methods offer us a clue, a guiding principle, but the journey of application is deeply personal and empowering. Consider the alternative, a mind constantly pulled in a dozen directions, processing information superficially, reacting rather than responding thoughtfully. This is a recipe for stress and suboptimal outcomes. The choice for a different way of thinking is always available to us. The trick is simple in concept, yet profound in its impact. It's a return to a more natural, human way of thinking, before the constant digital deluge. It's about honoring the incredible capacity of the human mind when it's given the right conditions to thrive. When we say faster, we often mean more efficient, more direct. A river that flows directly to the sea is faster than one that meanders aimlessly. Deep understanding, born from focus and simplification, creates that direct channel for your thoughts and actions. And smarter thinking isn't just about IQ. It's about wisdom, insight, and the ability to apply knowledge effectively. This method cultivates precisely those qualities, moving beyond mere information recall to genuine comprehension and creative application. This journey towards faster and smarter thinking, inspired by Einstein, is not about adding more, but about becoming more deliberate. It's about choosing depth over breadth, clarity over clutter, and understanding over mere accumulation of facts. The invitation today is to experiment with this simple trick. Find a quiet moment, choose a single focus, gently simplify, observe what happens, notice the shift in your mental state and the quality of your thoughts. The laboratory for this experiment is your own mind. This is not a one-time fix, but a lifelong practice. Each day offers opportunities to hone this skill, to cultivate a mind that is both agile and profound. The more you practice, the more natural and powerful this way of thinking will become. You possess an extraordinary instrument, your mind. Like any fine instrument, it performs best when handled with care, respect, and understanding of its ideal operating conditions. Focus, stillness, and simplification are the keys to unlocking its fullest harmony. The true speed gained is not just in thought, but in arriving at meaningful conclusions and effective actions more reliably. It's the speed of confidence, born from clarity, rather than the speed of anxiety born from haste. The smartness cultivated is a deeper intelligence, one that sees patterns, understands underlying principles, and fosters creativity. It's the intelligence that solves not just existing problems, but also helps you ask better, more insightful questions. So the simple trick, inspired by Albert Einstein, is this: cherish and cultivate moments of deep, undisturbed focus. In that focus, simplify complexity to its essential core. This is the path to thinking not just faster, but with profound, insightful, and truly smarter understanding. This approach transforms your relationship with your own thoughts, from a turbulent sea to a calm, clear spring from which wisdom flows. It empowers you to navigate the complexities of life with greater ease, insight, and effectiveness. The world will continue to demand your attention, but now you have a strategy to manage that demand, to choose where your powerful focus goes, and to unlock the deeper capacities of your mind. This is a quiet revolution, one thought at a time. This isn't about rejecting the modern world, but about navigating it with greater wisdom and intention. It's about finding your anchor of clarity in the midst of the storm, allowing you to think with precision and act with purpose. The legacy of thinkers like Einstein is not just in their specific discoveries, but in the methods and mindsets they cultivated. We can all draw inspiration from that wellspring of focused inquiry and dedicated simplification. As you go forth, carry this simple yet potent idea. Your mind's greatest power is often unleashed not in speed, but in stillness, not in complexity, but in clarity. The trick is to consciously create the conditions for this power to emerge. Let this be an invitation to slow down, to speed up, to simplify to understand, to focus to expand. The capacity for faster, smarter thinking is not an external acquisition, but an internal cultivation. What one problem, big or small, will you approach with this renewed sense of focused inquiry today? How might simplifying its core elements unlock a new perspective or a clearer path forward for you? The journey to a sharper, more insightful mind is ongoing. Embrace the process. The simple trick of focused simplification is your companion, a timeless principle for navigating the beautiful complexity of thought and life itself. Thank you for joining us on this exploration. May you find clarity in stillness, power in simplicity, and a renewed connection to the remarkable capacity of your own mind. Think deeply, live wisely,